Haimbe on Diamond TV. I at first I was like, but why is he not answering questions? But again, I sat back and I looked at his posture. I felt as if this is a person who is actually admitting that we are living at a very, very critical time, and we seriously surely need introspection as a nation. Anyway, that's what I actually read from Mlambo Haimbe. Today, I was listening from the two ministers. I looked at the posture and I compared Mlambo Haimbe's posture. Though young, I'm sure Mlambo Haimbe should be younger than Honorable Cornelius Mwitwa and my father, Honorable Jack Mwimbo. But his posture yesterday, Mlambo Haimbe, actually left a lot of thoughts within me. And I was like, surely we need to sit back and try to introspect and ask ourselves questions. Why this? Why that? And today I was telling someone, lastly, I was telling someone that I remember when Donald Trump was campaigning for presidency, he said, I want to go to Washington to drain the swamp. And I told someone that in Zambia, we need to drain the swamp around presidency. It's like our presidents are under capture every time they actually ascend to power. You could literally see, surely they are human beings, and what is just the problem? What has gone wrong? And for me, the issue is not with an individual, as in the president. The issue is within the presidency. That's where we have a challenge.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, there's another call. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening. How are you, Mr. Mwamba?
I'm very well, thank you. Please make your contribution. Introduce yourself and tell us where you are calling us from.
You're talking to Nkonde Kingsley, calling you from a landless corner.
Yes, Nkonde. Please make your contributions.
Okay. I want to talk about just a few things and just try to hear your views and just want to understand, how these issues are moving so far. We've seen that there's a lot of disorder, At the end of the day, we are one people. We are Zambians. Okay, and you, the leaders, you are showing us that, there's no spirit of unity. There's so much division. It's like enmity now. It's like it's war between the UPND and the PF. Because the fact that the UPND is the ruling party and they are the sitting government, those are the people who are in power today. Regardless whether we are PF, we are ZMP or any other political party. The UPND is a sitting government, they formed government, and we have to work with them. Even when we are pushing them, ensuring that there's checks and balances here and there to ensure that they're doing the right thing. There's supposed to be that dialogue where we are able to relate at a certain stage, because at the end of the day, we are one people.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
What is happening?
Nkonde, do you have other thoughts quickly? There are so many calls coming in. I want to afford other views.
Okay, the most important one is I want you, Honorable Mwamba, to ensure to see how best you can sit down with the people in the PF.
Yeah.
Let's try to unite and have an understanding and realize that we are one people at the end of the day. Our president, Edgar Chagwalungu, deserves a very respectable, burial. We are supposed to mourn him as a country, not only you, the PF. He didn't belong to you alone. He belonged to the nation. He's our president also. We want to mourn him. So stop bringing this division, because you are depriving us ordinary citizens to just mourn our former president.
Thank
you
you.
want to
Thank
take
you,
it so
Nkonde.
personal, like he belongs to the PF alone. So we want to participate also. Bring that unity to allow everyone to come in.
Okay. Thank you, Nkonde. I think your thoughts are very clear. There's an issue that how do we resolve the impasse? Government must take up the leadership. I've just explained that government has sent secretary to cabinet. Patrick Kangwa to South Africa to liaise with the family about the possible repatriation of the mortal remains of the president on Wednesday. Tomorrow there is a church service that the family acquires too, when the Zambian community in South Africa requested for that church service. The former First Lady, who's a widow, who's a spouse to the late president, will be there. You've asked, how can we resolve the impasse? This is statecraft, and this government is failing. First, it has wrong messengers. For 4 days, they've treated us to jokers, who they are even covering, as official voices on the public broadcaster, ZNBC. They don't have messengers for their message. We only saw today quasi-government officials speaking, Elisha Matambo, who threatened, "We'll bury you when we bury Edgar Lungu." Is that appropriate message? Then there were 2 other ministers that spoke. The Minister of Home Affairs, have applauded him for his maturity and for his deliberate choice of words. In this season, in the next few days, that's what matters. You choose your words very carefully. Words have power. But if you send Robert Chavinga and you grace him, he's an expelled official. He can't even go to the PF Party Secretariat. He's the one you grace on ZNBC to speak on behalf of the PF. I don't know who you are fooling. I don't know if you think you are fooling President Hakainde Hichilema, but you are fooling yourself. Why don't you cover Given Lubinda, who has swayed? He has said members of the Patriotic Front should meet across the country, and members of the Patriotic Front are meeting across the country. He has said the Secretariat should host a funeral. The Secretariat, has what Robert Chavinga said ever carried any weight? So this government is failing on the message and the messenger. So the Minister of Home Affairs today spoke very well. I commend him. This is a man I relentlessly criticize, but today he did very well. His choice of words, his message, and his demeanor was very clear. Came Cornelius Mwetwa from Zanzibar, who just came to spoil everything by trying to politic even with the truth that we have. He was saying the death of Mazoka was very peaceful and nothing happened. Come on, Cornelius. You're one of the founder members of the UPND. You were at the University of Zambia at the time, and you were working very closely with the UPND. Come on, Cornelius Mwetwa. You know the truth. You know that there were allegations of poisoning against Anderson Mazoka, that he didn't recover, and that he ended up, with organ failure in South Africa and died. And when he came, there was palpable tension that year in 2006. And in fact, when he died, I went to the funeral service that the Zambian community in South Africa organized, because I was in South Africa with Dr. Chiluba. If you Google, you will find that first of all, we went to the chapel where Mazoka's body lay. There was a small ceremony by the family there. We went there with Dr. Chiluba, and I went to the church service that was organized. There was palpable tension. You could cut through it. And when the body was brought for Mazoka, the government of Mwanawasa tried, and they deployed Vernon Mwanga. Vernon Mwanga is Tonga, and is an experienced guy. But he was beaten. To date, Vernon Mwanga can't hear on the left side. He was damaged permanently. He was beaten, and his car was nearly set ablaze at Malende. So Cornelius Mwetwa comes, he thinks we don't know the history of this country. Maybe you are speaking to Gen Z that might not have the facts that we personally have. So he came to misconduct himself. So I agree, the impasse, like I'm saying, is very important. Do we consider the message, and do we consider the messenger? And who is building the bridges? The leadership has to be with President Hakainde Hichilema. What would I advise him today? I'll tell him, Mr. President, ask maybe your vice president to call PF officials led by Given Lubinda, even to be accompanied by other members of the opposition. Have a meeting, plead with them that can we mourn together? It's just a few days. The vice president can meet maybe with your secretary general, who is Batuke Imenda, and senior ministers like Jack Mumbu can be in that meeting. Given Lubinda can come with his senior officials, he can involve Fred Membe and other senior people in the opposition, Harry Kalaba and others. And you plead to them, can we, as Zambians, mourn together? Can we have one place of mourning? Can we disarm, de-escalate? Can we abandon the political posturing? This is not the time to politically posture. Can we bury the president with dignity and decency? That's what leadership calls for. So I don't know who around the president, who is speaking to him about what. The man that has died is an African. There are concerns. He's a man that you've persecuted the last 3 years. You know, the other day I was reviewing the matters around Obasanjo when he came. You know, because some of us write a lot. We're always researching, constantly researching. Obasanjo came to attempt to bridge the gap between President Lungu and President Hakainde Hichilema. He came in 2017 to try to bridge the gap between President Lungu and President Hakainde Hichilema when President Hakainde Hichilema was locked up for treason. Obasanjo came when there was an impasse. I've always talked about that meeting between Mwanawasa and Obasanjo, and you know, he held a 45 minutes meeting with President Lungu, or with President Frederick Chiluba. I was there. There are lessons. So when I was reviewing all these facts, I said, why, you know, colleagues, senior people who have emerged like Nevas Mumba have just squandered an opportunity to be elders of our country because of parochial interest, narrow interest, what I can achieve from this presidency. Salary, we need to have elders in our country. And we can't rely on foreigners. We can't rely on Obasanjo to resolve our crisis. Abakala mbabe subali kwi. So mwabantu wakwalesa. Okay, let's see if...
No, Ambassador Mwamba, I don't agree with you.
Okay,
you know, the government cannot go and start pleading with those... you know, those people, no. Don't use that word, pleading. No. You are wrong, totally wrong. You know, this is why we're having problems, you know, Ambassador Mwamba. That's why we're having these problems, because of such kind of, you know, behavior like that. You can't say that government should go there and plead with Membe and all those things. Yeah, it's better they plead with the family, not those... you know, opportunists. No. You know, Ambassador, no, I don't agree with you.
Thank you.
You're part of the problem also.
Okay, so you can send a voice note like you've seen. My dear brother who spoke earlier, he promptly sent a voice message. Well, you might not agree with me, but from my experience, everyone is important. Currently, Secretary to Cabinet is meeting with the family in South Africa. But what do you do about the political impasse? If at our opposition are nothing. I used to laugh every time they said Hakainde can't win elections. I said, I don't know why when you have power, you have those big cars and air cons, you think you have arrived. They used to say Michael Sata can't win elections. I don't know. They used to say Chiluba is too short to become president. He can't beat Kaunda. So this, sorry, let me not use a strong word. My dear brother, this attitude of denigrating the role of the opposition, you are not a student of history. They said there was no way Chiluba could win looking at his stature and his capacity. Chiluba whitewashed KK, a respected world statesman, a respected man with one of the best intelligence system in Africa. He was beaten by a man he thought couldn't beat him. Michael Sata beat Rupia Banda. Rupia Banda was this accomplished diplomat, well respected, his demeanor, family man. And they said no, Sata couldn't beat him. Sata thrashed Rupia Banda. They used to say Edgar Lungu, Hakainde Hichilema can't beat Edgar Lungu. This attitude of denigrating the role of the opposition, you'll be in a ditch. That will be my warning to you. So if you don't want to listen to my advice, that's okay. If you think that the PF and the opposition have nothing, you can use the police and carry out through this, please go ahead. Advice is free. You can take it or you can reject it. Sorry, I had to stop the others that are calling. I had to answer my dear brother, Valanda Tamano Mambulwa. But if we got Tatwishiva Tamano Mambulwa, we will suffer this fate. Please call again and again. Their cause. Let me see if this will go through. And thank you, my dear brother in South Africa, that you are listening, Justin. Thank you very much. Good day. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Mkwai, Badishan Mkwai.
I just want to say something. I just want to say that I am really broken.
Yeah, kindly introduce yourself. Kindly introduce yourself.
I am a Zambian and calling within Europe.
That's fine. If you don't want to disclose who you are, we allow that on this program. Please proceed.
Okay, so I just want to say that I am very, very broken.
Yeah.
Because we thought YHH has learned something, because there is a lot of questionable death that has happened this year.
Yeah.
And I can connect to the funeral of Wanawakwi.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem that we have with YHH is that his actions and words does not match. That is the problem.
Yeah.
And if he stand for unity, I think they could have been the first people to give an example, to go to PF Secretariat office and really to reduce themselves, because they have to accept the fact that they have done something beyond human, beyond politics toward Vaedika. Everybody knows that Vaedika was sick, but it's not possible someone who was jogging in the morning and to die after his bodyguard really just withdraw, because he has been with the bodyguard to South Africa. And then the bodyguard he was called to the government that he need to attend the case. It looks like that is you Zambians, please, if you don't understand and you cannot really have uncomfortable conversations and to accept the reality, what has been happening since 2021 under the government of YHH, then you are not normal.
Yeah.
I just want to say, let me just say this, because a normal person who has capacity and the brain to think, even someone can know that. I think the death of Waedika, it's a questionable death.
Yeah.
And they should not push us Zambians to bury Waedika. In fact, we can even take the body, we can keep the body of Waedika even for 1 month if we want.
Yeah.
Because it's not a crime to keep a body. Because we want the cause of the death of Waedika. We cannot bury Waedika without knowing what really happened. They called the bodyguard Baba Edika on Wednesday. The second day, he died. In fact, Baba Edika, I think he died the day of someone's birthday, and they didn't announce. And then, why only the private media, they block the news on social media when PF was not aware. The family was not aware. And to make it worse, the government of YHH, they sent their minister secretly without the notification to Zambians and anyone that they have sent a minister to South Africa. South Africa landed Musa Africa, less than within hours when the death was known on social media. And number of our minister, no kuya kuku family, no kuati. Tomorrow we are taking the body. Why are they so desperate of the body of Baedika? What do they want to do with it? What is the problem? What is the problem? Of course, Baedika is a state property, and the family and even the party can decide whether UPND is invited or not. But because the state of the Zambia, it is the soldiers. We will give we are going to give a permission the soldiers to do their job, but we can decide whether my church will be invited or not, and it's not a crime.
Thank you, my dear sister. Kindly conclude.
So you Zambians, you have to really understand it's not a crime to keep the body of Baedika, and we will decide where to bury it.
Okay.
Yeah, and also we will decide whether by HH or easy officials are allowed. It's so curious. Yeah, what do they want from the body of Baedika? You know, so this is the one that I just want to say. We know what has been happening, and they should not defend themselves if they know that they have nothing to do with the death of Baedika. Then they should just keep quiet. You know, and you know, that is the one thing I just want to say. Thank you so much, by Emmanuel, and bye for now.
Thank you very much. Our dear sister says. Clearly, President Lungu was harassed, and the family has grievances, and the family have an opportunity to state their case and their interest. Let me give an example of our neighboring country, DRC. Etienne Tshisekedi, who was the father to the current president, Felix Chilombo Tshisekedi, Etienne Tshisekedi, Mweba Ishiwa, recent history. He was a vociferous, strong critic and main opposition from Mobutu Sese Seko's time. He died in 2017. And the family felt that the government of President Kabila was too hostile to the Tshisekedi. So they never allowed the body to be taken. He died in Brussels, Belgium, in 2017. If you remember, he was only buried recently. He was kept in the morgue for 4 years, and the funeral, I think, only took place after Felix Tshisekedi, the son, won elections in 2019 and made arrangement to repatriate the body and the funeral. So he was only buried for 4 years later in 2022. Is that 5 years later? Can you imagine? So I think let us learn from history that this is a very delicate matter. I know Etienne Tshisekedi was an opposition leader, but I gave earlier, again, the issue of Mobutu Sese Seko, who died and was buried in Morocco with the intention to rebury him in the DRC when a friendly government comes. You don't want us to escalate, any family member to escalate those feelings. This is an opportune time, I think, to test the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema. Let him do everything in his resolve to ensure that this impasse is resolved. Messenger, very key. Speak to all stakeholders. Why is the church quiet during this time? Why are you fronting Mwali Teta is the one we should see with threats on public broadcasting? What do you think that will do to the family and to the PF? What do you think if you have Elisha Matambo who's threatening, will bury you as soon as we bury Edgar Lungu? Why are you allowing these threats? Balanda tulechewa tabamucheba kukanwa ule losha, tabamucheba kukanwa the family bale losha. your duty is to go and listen nga omfu chimbo cha malilo bale bati no uipete ko bati kufumapo awe yoko yashitana wayashitana obunga na bumbi washitana nenkoko shimbi wamba nokusobolola po bali abakalamba waikala nabo kukona na uli omukalamba ne atumfati bawido na bagalipasa na bale bati nendile chichumbiti, and they begin to intervene, and by the time you are going to burial everything has been settled. The matters might flare up per somebody harmful, where people can now be emotive and say their grievances. But that's how we Africans mourn. But the arrogance we are seeing, President Hakainde Hichilema must demonstrate leadership. President Hakainde Hichilema must pick and choose who should resolve this impasse. The PF will do their politics. The UPND may do their politics. But it's up to President Hakainde Hichilema, who's father of all, who's a custodian of even Edgar Lungu, because his head is a current head of state, who has peculiar and special interest as a head of state. He's occupying a position that his colleague held. So he should take leadership in this, and that's not what we are seeing. Tumina Simon Mwale tukachila ushiku, calling us names. You are just inflaming emotions. Choose who you want to cover, who should say your messages. It is time to de-escalate. But who will de-escalate? Who will de-escalate? Okay. Good evening. Please tell us your name and tell us where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba, Ambassador. This is Joseph calling from Chingola.
Joseph, please make your contributions.
Yeah, no, I just want to hammer the point. Mr. Mwamba, Zambia is a Christian nation, that you know, and let us not bring division in our country, please. Because if that's a division, and you are doing politics, we are not mourning our dear beloved former president, Mr. Edgar Chagbalungu. So let's put politics aside. We mourn our father, the former president.
My dear brother, let me just clarify. This is a commentary program. We are providing updates. The purpose is to provide updates. The purpose is also to guide. We are not going to bury our head that Mwari Teta didn't storm Belvedere and take over Belvedere. We are not going to keep quiet that Elisha Matambo is threatening to bury some people after they bury Edgar Lungu. We are not going to fail to praise if the Minister of Home Affairs spoke with sobriety and maturity. We are doing updates and providing commentary, and we're encouraging you to provide your comment. If you think I'm politicking, Chirufatari is live. There are other people that are live. Join them.
Yeah, we've seen all these, because if you can see, even I was following those press briefing, they make this Tonse and the president, the acting president for PF. Those are political.
Those are politicians, my brother. They are going to do politics. There will be people that will try to take advantage of the death of the former president, both from government side and from political parties. But the role of the president is the head of state, is the father of all, is to provide leadership. There is a family, there is a country whose former head of state has died, and the body is still not in the country. It is a role of the head of state to harmonize that. Yeah.
So the government is working on that one. It's working on that. Yeah. So I think let's just see.
No. We are not going to keep quiet, my brother. I don't know if you want me to keep quiet. I've given you the purpose of this debate is that every day I'll provide debate and I'll provide commentary. I have been privileged to have been spokesperson for Dr. Chilua for 10 years. I was permanent secretary for 5 years. I've been an ambassador for 8 years. Really, in a crisis like this, wouldn't you want I offer my opinion and my sense of history?
you're okay. You're just doing fine, Ambassador.
Yeah. Acho ndekana chakwati muletukanya twilandapo. Lona musha ku Zambia kulia ma cyber crimes balefa muilalandapo. Ichalo kuti chapi abantu ngata balilandapo. Abantu bafire bakwato kwa kupemena. Belafuila mukati. So those that are enjoying this program, won't for the reflection, but don't shut it up. The solution to democracy is more democracy.
I'm not trying to shut the program, sir. It's just a contribution. I'm just adding. I'm just saying.
Okay, say then your contribution, my brother.
My contribution is,
yes.
Let's just mourn our dear beloved father,
thank you,
former president, in peace.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mwamba.
Thank you, my brother. The other day, a colleague from Zimbabwe personally attacked the former president. Look, we don't talk ill of the dead. We don't, And he was attacking me personally. There's a program, the platform. Just say your contributions. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hi, Ambassador Mwamba. How are you?
I'm very well, sir. How are you?
Thank you. It's Dr. Jedediah Kundandlovu from South Africa.
Doc, how are you?
I'm doing extremely well, Ambassador.
You are president, for purposes of our viewers, you are president of?
Ego Forum, Zambia.
Ego Forum, Zambia. Make your contribution, my brother.
Yeah, first and foremost, there's a whole lot of things going on, especially because we have failed to provide leadership. And every time we begin to expect everybody else to do what they are supposed to do, except for us to do what we are supposed to do, we make a mistake because we are reactive. We are not being proactive. And what I know, I see a very big problem with most of the leaders in our country. Leadership should not be egoistic. Leadership should be servanthood. When you are calling on others to come together because there's a problem, you don't lose anything. Actually, you gain everything.
Yeah.
We have seen that we have failed as leaders before the funeral. And the only way we can rectify our mistakes is not by trying to justify our wrongs, but by beginning to respond proactively to the situation at hand. Sometimes you'll be called names as a leader, but that's what leadership is all about.
Correct.
Now, if we fail to provide leadership, give this example, I know that I'm taking a bit of some time. In a home, when a husband begins to argue like a wife, then you know that there's a very big problem. Because a husband... because there's no headship. And the headship is very important at such a time as this. The problem is that we have leaders that surrounding some of our leaders that are not genuine. And some of them are men of God. Some of them are pastors. And you can see the bitterness of those pastors being expressed through institutions of leadership in our country. We can see this. And we should not even, try to sugarcoat things. Right now, what we need is leadership. And the problem is not even some of these people that are talking. Those are just being used as, mouthpiece. Most of them that are speaking can see that they are actually trying to, they're speaking from a place of somebody's bitterness. So I would really advise Mwamba, what you are saying is very important, and you don't have to be perfect, but you just have to be sometimes consistent, and that's what is important. Right now, let us put our egos aside. This is not about proving a point. Leadership will always come with mistakes. If you've made a mistake, it doesn't mean that you've lost your leadership position. It's how you are able to admit your mistakes and sometimes let people mourn in the way that they want to mourn. Don't control things. That's all that I wanted to say, Mkwai.
Dr. Jedediah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. In fact, our history is very clear. Our African leadership is one of the best in the world, because our leaders, our chiefs, lead in council. Our kings don't lead alone; they lead in council. They have to be with indunas. And now we've. Let me just take this call. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Alfred Joseph Yombe. I'm calling from Lusaka.
Your name, sir?
Alfred Joseph Yombe.
Alfred Joseph Yombe. My dear brother, make your contribution.
All right. Mulishadi festival mwamba weso.
Iyo tulelosha muntu wandi tatulala mwana menso yadi fimba kukulila na kukana sendama.
Atatuapapata mleso ngaturedirika na bamwana satavinga.
Endita.
Mweba shana poni mwebo. Chiri chaulanda sana pamfwa yaba ECL. I'm really broken.
Yeah.
I'm really broken. Bamwamba weso. It's not an insult, but this UPND government, they lack wisdom. That's what they are lacking, is wisdom.
Yeah.
And they lack wise counsel. And you know why? Because they have so much hatred and bitterness. They're a bunch of bitter people. And I don't know why they are so bitter about anything. If they were not bitter, they were just to be normal and wise and seek counsel from the elders. I think they could have done better in this situation. And they have to understand why there's this resistance from the family, both the biological family and the political family. It's because of the manner they treated Israel when he was alive.
Yeah.
When he was a president, he was voted in 2016. President Hakainde Hichilema refused to recognize him as a Republican president.
Correct.
That's why we saw the tug of war in Mongo. Because he said this is not a president. To him, he wasn't a president. This is where all this is, coming from. That bitterness. They failed to recognize him and they never respected him. Even when he handed over power to him, we know the person who got the instruments of power. It wasn't Hakainde Hichilema. He's a suspicious man. It was his bodyguard from Beijing.
Yeah.
So they have to understand where all this tug of war is coming from, where this resistance is coming from. And me, as a PF sympathizer, I wouldn't like them to be anywhere near the funeral of ECO because the Chiliro Chawo, to them it's a gain.
Yeah.
The ECO's death, to them it's a win because they wished for this. If they wanted ECO to live, they could have allowed him to go for his medical checkups on time before it was too late. So they should stay, however, UPND. They should leave ordinary Zambians and ask the PF to mourn and all the dignitaries. They should not pretend. They're just doing this because chance on Kulivena.
Yeah.
So they're just playing to the gallery, trying to be good when ECO is dead.
Yeah.
They should stay away. And as PF, we should never expect anything good to come out of UPND. As long as it has got to do with us, the PF, they will mistreat us. Just look the way they are saying before we even bury. They are saying all sorts of things. They are threatening to even arrest the Yasira Lungwe show. They are threatening to arrest the Honorable Rafa Nakachinda for the interview he gave on Sabic and the newsroom. Why threatening people who are talking? They are just narrating how he was treated when he was alive. That was wrong. We need to change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yombwe. Thank you very much, Mr. Yombwe, calling from Lusaka. I think it's a great opportunity for all of us. This now boils down to leadership. Who's head of the state is President Hakainde Hichilema. Who should provide leadership? Who should de-escalate the tensions? There's been a build-up of tensions. Bury the hatchets, bury the hatchets. President Hakainde Hichilema has been issuing, since his brother came back or attempted to come back into politics, he's issued all sorts of inflammatory statements. Akesa ikala pesa tuwali ikalapo. No one will remove me. Inekwali wa glue. kuchipuna chandi, no nkam pa mkoshi. We have all those videos. We don't want to play them. So when a death occurs, like we were saying yesterday, when a death occurs, my dear sister, Nyala, just a minute. I put you live. Just hold on. Yeah, please make your contributions.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you. This is Kapia again
Yes.
from Chicago, USA.
Yes.
Honorable, it's really very devastating.
Mm-hmm.
It's very devastating. If you look at the person of Galungu, his personality, I would call him a lamb. See what they are doing him in his death. To me, this clearly shows that they failed to fight him when he was living. Are they going to fight his soul now? Maybe his soul is still with us. The man died a painful death. I strongly agree with him. And I would want to oppose the government, what. No. The family simply said they don't want the government any close to this funeral. They did not say that our citizens, they shouldn't mourn. No. Even the government can still go to the secretariat if they want and mourn from there peacefully. Baeti Kalungu was mistreated. This man suffered for over 20 million people of Zambia. Do you think that is something simple? And there's a state funeral. No, where's the president? Where is he?
Yeah.
Up to now, president. Ask yourself, Mama, why? His mouth, his lips is tied up because of the treatment he gave this man. Akanwana akakosa na abakakanwa na abafirwa kubikula emfwa ya mfumu yimfwira n'emfumu omuntu empempere fyo omuntu wafye tetyabikule n'emfwa yakwa Edgar Lungu. The man is tormented, the man is haunted. Nokumumona limbi balemumona. Sorry to say this, alemitimana ashikalipa. They shouldn't blame the PF. The other day, Honorable Given Lubinda was very clear. Not that never can you want to close a No, please. This death is so painful, is so unbearable.
Yeah.
Those they're the ones even doing politics. And what they should know, Edgar Lungu was a politician. We are not running away from that. That's the truth. He was a politician. We are expecting politics in his funeral. Please let them stay away. No. If I don't you never know what they can do. Thank you so much. May God bless the work you are doing, Honorable Mamba. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. A young lady called Kapia from Chicago in the United States here. She's calling for the UPND, I think, to show some remorse. She's calling on want to call it 70 missed calls. Munjeleleko. Please tell us. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Yeah, we're discussing the funeral updates of Zambia's 6th president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa. There'll be a church service tomorrow at the Cathedral of Pretoria, where the former First Lady will lead a delegation from the family in attendance. My dear brother, it looks like Nwa Mabwa. Please make your introduce yourself and make your contribution.
John Mabo, no, please, the ambassador. I hope Glenn will probably put question to my airport.
Mkwai, I think we can hear you.
Oh, thank you. Ambassador, have you observed we have two major issues that have been unearthed by this situation, predicament?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what has happened. Can you believe it? I'm so sorry, Wamabo. I have to call you back. I left this phone in the studio, so it didn't charge. Just in a minute, I'll call you, Wamabo. If you are listening, I'll call you back. My phone is discharged. I didn't charge it the last 2 days. I kept on leaving it here in the studio. I'll call you just in a moment, and for others, they can call. What is Facebook saying? A Jordan Tiger says, Nakachinda is speaking, so Elisha Matambo should also speak, and obvious Mwalitete, they're politicking. Okay, fair enough. Indeed, the president must provide leadership is absent. Correct. I think, there are those comments from social media. I'm following up. We have a church service in Pretoria tomorrow. Today we saw hoodlums of UPND take over the official mourning place designated by the head of state and by cabinet office as a place of mourning, and they just diluted and they just cemented the role of the PF party secretariat as the official mourning with that conduct. They should have gotten neutral people and neutral personalities. Sir, good evening. Are you calling me in my private capacity, or you want to contribute to my program?
No, in your private capacity, sorry.
Okay, sir, I'll call you back. I'm live on the program. Okay, thank you, sir. Let me check. I want to learn that now uletamba program wasanga fina babweshe chitumbi. Yeah. Oh, someone has sent me this letter. I was talking about a letter where Etambuyu Anamela Gundan San, who's a permanent secretary at Ministry of Foreign Affairs, had written on 28th December 2023 to all embassies. I'd spoken about this letter. Someone has sent me the letter. Thank you very much, because I was going to forage through my documents. I might publish it, but she gave directive that she had instructions that Edgar Lungu must not be received by any official or embassy, and he must not be allowed at embassies abroad if we were to turn up. Very crude way of doing things. And that letter is a genuine letter. 4 or 5 members from various embassies had sent it to me in 2023 when she issued it. I never published it because I thought it's one of the matters that we're dealing with when we're resolving the issues around President. Okay, so let me just reactivate this phone. That's on I'm sorry I didn't charge my phone, but it's coming on just in a minute, and we'll take the calls. We'll begin to wind the program down. We'll have another update tomorrow. But let me just take the last few calls. But I have to call back Bamabo. He's a senior in our country. So someone has written me. Okay, there's a Zambian national, a very senior person, who says they are in Midrand and they would like to attend the church service. Okay, sir, I'll call you tomorrow. I'll call you after this program. Thank you, sir. So we've been discussing the funeral program in the last of Zambia's sixth president who died at a hospital in Pretoria in South Africa. Today there were major activities where government officials and unknown persons, security that appeared to be security officials, attempted to retrieve the body and remains of the former president in South Africa. That action is criminal. The Minister of Information and Media spoke to that matter. He has disowned the process. He says, according to government, they sent no one. So if they sent no one, the people that turned up, you must punish them. Remember, in South Africa, CCTV is everywhere, so you can't hide. Identify the officials and deal with them. You are tempted to abduct the body of the late president. But this is your former president, Zambia's sixth president, Fidia Baneta Bachita. Yeah, the line is on, so let me just call back Mabo before other people start calling. Let me just call back Mabo. He's a regular from Italy. He's the president of Zambians in Italy, and he's actually traveling for the funeral when they are confirmed. Mabo, please, I'm so sorry. The phone went off. I haven't charged it the last few days, but it's on now. Make your contribution, sir.
Just two major issues, Ambassador. I think it would be better if now we try to calm our people down,
Yeah.
My emotions, the polarization and the division is becoming a little heavy and it's becoming scary.
Yeah.
And I hope this is where we will see by UPND their true leaders in times like this, if they can bring together the nation. Because what's happening, Ambassador, it's not good. WhatsApp group, some comments, no. This is just so wrong. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
The second one, we shouldn't be using our heads of state in foreign hospitals, Ambassador. After 54 years, after more than 60 years of independence, sure, we can't have hospitals there, but we have a lot of educated Zambians, even foreigners, experts working in our country. This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
And then we have lost a statesman, an important person. And what are we talking about? Trivial issues. We are arguing about this match today to the previous leader. What about autism, Ambassador Rivers? What about autism? True leaders don't hide their incompetence in what about autism. You say, look, you do this, I'm going to do it better. Not that you also did it. That's why I'm doing it. What kind of thinking is that?
Yeah.
And then I want to say, UPND, PF, the SP, won't say. Political organizations in Zambia. We are Zambians, first of all. There's no need for us to be left, right, please, Ambassador, I think we should try to reach a little bit unity and encourage the government to bring the people together. Division, it's an civil war, is so
Yeah. Yobani Mwabomba, thank you very much. Well, I had proposed in my discussion that if I were anywhere near the UPND, I would advise the president to deploy people to meet, first of all, the PF, where President Lungu was a leader, to attempt to help de-escalation. Of course, primary is a family, and I think that process has been underway since Saturday. But the PF also is very key, even the opposition. Some things you just have to say, can we do a Zambian thing? At the funeral of Nawak, President Hakainde Hichilema preached peace and called for dialogue. Here is an opportunity. Call people so that by the time the body arrives on Wednesday, you will have at least a preliminary meeting to attempt to de-escalate the tension currently going on. Your name, please, and tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello?
Yes, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I am calling somewhere in the United Kingdom.
That's fine.
And
if you wish to remain anonymous, that's also okay.
Okay. First of all, therefore, kumitotera sana ba Honorable Mamba for coming online so that we can mourn together. Zambia.
Yeah.
I would also want to thank the family of Suminisho Govati Tuatampo Tualanda Po Pafide Chitika. I would really want to make a real contribution here. When I feel Chitika Mwandini, not to be first of all shocked. The why she was president of the hospital. We know that South Africa, Badistana attend a medical to the Badista attend to medicals. So but from the Falkland Fakulati, info for Aishire Mwandini, Yari to publish at the Tom Futation Gabali admitted in that Tabadi admitted. There was nothing that was disclosed. On the other hand, needs to understand it can be private. Obviously, maybe the family wanted to make sure that it was okay before they can bring things out. But if you know, people are talking so much. Our country is a Christian nation. Okay, the president, I understand, but the comment, but for about 7 days. Thank you so much for HH. But then, our Bandama outsiders, the people on the far right, shock. There was this person who was saying, patriotic front, government, provisions. And on the other hand, there was a time, I think it was independence time, that follow politics Zambia. I think president, this was, yes, it was a plan, but the man did what was planned. And once in a benefit. So my really cry is that when I'm a Christian, I'm a pastor, why don't we stand up together, pray and support this family? You know, it's a very crucial time. Okay, once in a I'm interest, yes. But the best interest here was the other family, you know, Baba, although it is private, at least what the boy can belong to that when we are mourning there is peace, there is love. It is the way of UPND, by Cheshire, by such apologize. By no government involved. That means there is something that is happening. So on the ground, for me, my contribution is I would plead with the UPND. How I wish the President Vesu, as he is, can even address us because I go to let the follow took to our daddy. Now, address no, but if not, we are sorry, whatever happened. Let us mourn our President. So, like, everybody could PF, please let there be peace. And let there be order so that but I should also say it on air. I, for one, Lungu has contributed a lot in my life. I may be very far away, but what I've achieved in the country, it's because of that man. And I still remember that man was a man of the people. That man was humble. That man was. If I was in Zambia, perhaps I met him in the street, he would say hello to me. Will I be able to greet my other president? I don't know. Up to now, I'm still fighting for the road. I don't want to talk about that, but I'm so touched about what is happening. Let there be peace. Please, Mr. President, we are waiting for you. Come and say something. We want to hear your voice. You are doing a lot. You are appreciating Balungu. If you are appreciating Balungu, please come forward and say something. Just to comfort the family and to comfort people like us who are waiting and yearning to just hear.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Concerned citizen, please make your contribution quickly. You are now a regular on this program, so please.
No, thank My concern is about narrative and how certain factions are trying to shape a narrative. I noticed earlier in the day where there was, I think it's a follow-on from the conversation that we had yesterday, where people are trying to make it seem that the PF is trying to agitate anarchy or disruption by saying that they want to respect, admon the former president.